Want to attract and convert more leads? Want to learn how digital PR, branding, and SEO can establish and build your brand identity? Welcome to the Market Movers Building Brands and Links with Linkifi podcast. We answer these questions and help you ramp up your brand visibility and credibility. Let's cut through the noise and make your business the talk of the town. We're your hosts, Nick and Chris. Let's get this show on the road.
Welcome to today's episode. I am delighted that we are joined by Vasilisa Marinova-Kaseva, and we're going to be talking about SEO and brand awareness. She is an SEO manager at Merkle, where she works with clients across a wide range of verticals. So today, welcome, Vasi.
Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Vasi, it's great to have you on. So to start, why don't you just tell us about your past in SEO and then your role now in Merkle?
Sure. Well, I'm having experience in the SEO fields for over 13 years already. It all started like a game. It was a seasonal job just for the summer, but it became something, as you can see, very permanent. It happened to be exactly the thing that I like to do. It's interesting. It's dynamic. It's not the same every day. So yeah, that's the thing for me. I started in an agency where I was working on international clients. Then I was working for various companies as an in-house SEO. And currently I'm working again for an agency where I'm having the pleasure to work with lots of clients on international basis. So it's never boring.
Yeah, especially currently with the with all the updates and whatnot. So you talk about specifically building SEO strategies tailored to increase brand awareness. Could you talk us through how you would approach building such a strategy?
Yes, sure. In my opinion, SEO is an essential tool for creating brand awareness. This has been so since I started working in the field. And it continues to be an essential part of the process, especially now with all the AI things coming in. They are always on the trend. And I'm having the feeling that actually people are forgetting how important it is to create brand awareness and to make their brand easy to be recognized by the customers. So I'm always putting an importance to that. Of course, strategies, that's not something quite new. We first need to see how well a brand is known. Like some brands are more famous, some are not that famous. So we need to see where the brand is positioned locally, internationally, depending on the services that they are offering. Of course, we need to do some competitor research in their niche to see where they are placed among other brands offering the same service or the same products. And based on this, we can create some steady strategies on how to use the organic results to actually get their services and their products to be more recognizable by their clients.
So what role would you say SEO plays in brand awareness? So you outlined the first steps when you work with a new client. Then after that, what role does SEO play in actually building brand awareness?
It's a very essential role, indeed, because many clients are like used to turn to other channels for creating this brand awareness, for starting their business, like paid search, for example. Of course, it's a way to do so, but if we are looking to build a long-term brand awareness, if we are looking to build a long-term steady product and, of course, get revenue, we definitely need to turn to organic results, organic performance, and organic optimization. In my opinion, paid search is something very, very useful, but it's just for a limited time. The long-term thing is the SEO.
So what do you see as being the biggest black hole then when it comes to a brand approach SEO with clients? Like, where do you start? Content or on-page optimization of existing content, new content, link building? Where does the strategy normally start?
I'm going to surprise you, but it's the tech. Not the book and pen, but well, in my opinion, a website is like a house. You need to have a steady house with a steady basis so that you can start decorating it. If you're not having a website that is technically healthy, even if you provide the best possible content, it's gonna serve as good as it would if the tech side of things are better. So definitely that's the first thing that we need to look at.
That makes sense. So would you say that's important for brand awareness as well? I mean, obviously that's a key component of an SEO strategy, but does that play into the brand awareness part?
Yes, of course, because when you're building the whole strategy for the website, you're including brand and non-brand keywords, and you want your website to rank good for both types of keywords, especially if we are talking about a new brand that is not recognizable. So you want to make customers know about this particular, let's say, company, let's say, product, etc. So you want users to start think about your brand when they hear a given product, let's say high heel shoes. We all get some brand in our mind when we say high heel shoes. But if we are starting right now with a company that is a small company, it's not recognizable and no one knows it. So you want to make it, we need to make it rank first for the non-branded terms, because basically people will not be looking for the brand terms. So in case you want to make an appearance in a niche where you're having a lot of competitors, because, you know, the more generic the keywords, the more competitors you have. So once you want to make an impression, you want to go on top of all your competitors for the generic keywords, you need to have a steady basis. And the steady basis is the testing.
So have your foundations in order. Yeah. So what metrics are you using then to measure the performance of a brand first SEO approach?
They are the usual metrics, to be honest. I start monitoring how often people start looking for the brand first, of course. Again, saying we're assuming it's not a known brand. It's something that is just launching and we want to make people aware of its presence. So we start measuring the performance of the non-brand keywords. You check the impressions, you check the clicks, the traffic, of course. And then you start looking at the pure brand keywords. You start looking at them to see if they get better and better performance in the SERP, if people are starting to look more and more for this brand, to make sure that you're actually on the right way. Because if the brand searches does not increase, this means we are not doing something quite right.
So does an increase in brand name search power up the rest of the non-brand search keywords?
I'd say so. I mean, they are not directly correlated, but once people start looking for the brand keywords, the website will get better and better performance. And of course, sooner or later, Google will start connecting the website, service, or product to the brand name. And it's going to make things easier for indexing, etc.
Okay, so let's talk about keyword strategy. When you take on a new client, SEOs have a tendency to focus on those either the conversion keywords or the big search volume keywords. How do you prioritize, or how do you strategize the brand awareness part of this when you're building a new keyword research?
First of all, I'm trying to explain to the clients that high volume keywords does not necessarily mean higher traffic and, of course, higher revenue. What I'm trying to explain is that we need to have actually a steady strategy to tailor the keywords that are highly relevant to a given page to this page. That's, of course, done with the keyword mapping. And a good keyword mapping, in my opinion, includes both brand and non-brand keywords. You know, there are companies that tend to focus more on generic terms, and they're like, we need to rank just for generic. I think that especially for the brand awareness part, we need to have like 50-50 or let's say 40-60 brand, non-brand.
Okay. So how are you telling the brand story through an SEO content strategy then? How would you go about doing that?
We need to have an about us page. This is something I strongly insist on having on every website. We need to have an about us page that is going to tell a story, not simply that's the company. We need to tell a story, who we are, what we do, why we do it. I'm strongly looking for the personal input. I want a service and the product to be valuable to the users, not simply have a well-optimized page for the SERPs. We need to provide value to the users. We need to make them feel like, yeah, that's the right thing for me. They are doing it for me. They are putting something personal in this. It's not just money. So we're going to start with a properly created about us page that is providing value for both users and Google crawlers. It's a good thing to have FAQs, especially with the fact that, the schema and the structured data is having a high impact on indexing. It's good to think about FAQs where, of course, we can implement the brand name. The blog section is something that I'm strongly going for because the blog is the place actually where you can show your creativity. Like the rest of the pages of a website, they are for the product or for the service, but the blog page is actually the page we are going to provide value for the users. And when you provide value for the users, next time they hear your brand name, they are like, oh, I know them. I read this and this there, and it's interesting. And I want to go back there to see if there is something more around the topic that can be useful for me.
Yeah, that's good. How do you ensure that brand message carries through in the content? I know you can have really great writer guidelines, but often that sort of vision is held with the founders or the management team. And then a lot of companies, they're outsourcing the writing, or even if they have someone on staff, like it doesn't necessarily mean that they really care about that vision. How do you ensure that story that you've created for the brand, the brand vision, how do you ensure that that's carried through into the content you create?
It's all a matter of negotiations. Like you need to convince the teams, you need to convince the owners of the business that we need this and this. I provide examples. Of course, examples are always a great thing to show that something is valuable. At least for me, it always works when I say, look, your competitors are doing this.
Give them a nudge.
Yep. You need to explain.
Yeah, it is tricky though, I suppose, isn't it? Like Nick said, maintaining that narrative, a tightly and carefully thought out narrative throughout what could become vast, huge quantities of content is a difficult thing to maintain, but vitally important. Yeah.
Yep. It is.
Yeah, I think the goal is to make it look like it's expertise content, no matter what it is. And oftentimes that's hard to do with the writer. One of my favorite strategies for that was actually interviewing the founder or whoever was in charge of that vision, whoever was like the voice of the company, interviewing that person, getting their insights, and then kind of, even if you're not writing it as if you're them, you're using that like unique experience and expertise from the team. And that really makes a big difference in content, I think.
Indeed, agree. People like expertise. People are searching for expertise. And I'm repeating myself, but once they have found something useful in your website, they are going to get back to it, to look for more.
It sounds like as well you're talking about elements for EEAT as well, a well optimized about page, authority and credibility within the content. It's all building to it's all adding to what EEAT is not necessarily a ranking factor in of itself. It is part of the SEO game for long-term visibility in the SERPs. So yeah,
indeed, you have to make people feel like you care about them. You want to provide something useful for them. Not that you simply want to sell them something. That's not working.
So what are the main metrics you're measuring for content marketing? I would imagine one of them is branded search. You're trying to increase the branded search, but what other metrics do you track for your content marketing efforts?
As you said, it's the branded search in first place. I'm also looking quite a lot at the CTR. People tend to disregard this, but it's quite important because if you're having a low CTR, this means you're missing something on the website. This means that you need to improve something in the content or in the metadata to make people click on your website. So that's another thing that I'm highly focusing on. Another thing that I'm looking at, of course, is the bounce rate. I need to know whether people who are landing, especially on a content page, whether they stay, whether they read what we have to say, whether they go to another page of the website, or whether they simply leave. This customer behavior as a whole, it's telling a lot.
I'm really interested how one attributes an increase in branded search as a result of a brand search SEO, a brand first SEO strategy. So if you're working for a shoe company, like you talked about earlier, high heels, obviously the dream is they're producing such great content. People are landing on this content organically for non-branded search terms. And then they're then searching specifically for that brand because of this excellent content. So that's the feedback loop of that strategy. I'm interested in how you actually would attribute an increase in branded search when you've got other marketing strategies running alongside that. So if that company is doing paid social and email marketing, how are you attributing that growth in branded search to SEO as opposed to those other channels?
Well, by providing this useful content, as I have mentioned, people are starting to connect in their minds your brand to this useful content. So they tend to start searching more for the brand. And of course, by optimizing for generic keywords, from my experience, I can say it's the content pages that start ranking in first place. And after that comes the POPs, PEPs, etc., or other services pages that one website might have. So it's the content pages that start performing best in the beginning. And of course, once a user lands on this content page, whether it's the About Us, whether it's the blog, if it's properly built, if it's providing useful information, they go to see the website. They go to check the website to see the service or the product that they offer. So they start to think about this brand next time they hear the generic term. And this way, like, for example, as I said, we're selling high heels and we're providing some valuable articles on the topic around high heels, etc., etc. And our customers have checked the high heels articles. They've remembered the name of the brand. They're connecting it that, okay, they're selling high heels. So next time when they're searching to buy high heels online, it's very likely they're going to type the name of the brand.
So you would almost see that growth across the divide of the topical maps that you're working on. So if you're working on generic high heel terms, then if that's working, you'll start to see an increase in branded high heel search, and then across multiple categories.
Exactly.
Okay, that's really interesting.
Yeah, and I have also noticed in my experience that the blog pages are very, very likely to convert. This is something that has not been widely discussed online. At least I haven't found too many articles on this topic, but from my experience, I have noticed that blog pages do convert if they are built properly. If they are providing useful content, it's very likely that organic visitors who landed on them will then create a conversion, which is everything
the dream
a website is aiming for.
That is very interesting. What kind of content do you find converts? So if we just stick with the high heels example, what kind of content would you focus on that converts, that's informational and not product based?
This is something that is a subject to research, let's say. I mean, not only about the high heels topic. Every topic, every website team is having a specific niche. So this is something that the SEO specialist needs to research using some of the tools for keyword research. Let's not make advertisement right now. But yeah, there are plenty of pretty good. online softwares that are offering proper keyword research. So you need to research the niche topics of your service, of your website. You need to look for keywords with informational intent when we are talking about the blog. And you need to see the keywords that people are looking for, because we are having other factors that emphasize the topics. We are having seasonalities. We are having some events happening worldwide, like Olympics, like World Cup, etc., etc. I like sports. That's why I'm giving these examples. So we need to keep all of these things in mind. Of course, holiday seasons, people will be looking for boots in the winter, but won't be looking for boots in the summer. So when you want to build valuable content, you're not going to write about high heels boots in July.
Yeah. I'm wondering if you can just do me a really quick, fast answer to this, because I'm fascinated, and I'd like to just know what your current English language strategy is for just a real quick breakdown, because we're seeing the SERPs just change so rapidly. We're seeing strategies becoming outdated. If you had a new client that sells the high heel shoes, are you finding long tail keywords? How are you sourcing those keywords? Are you using tools like Ahrefs? Are you using metrics like keyword difficulty to identify and build a bucket of those keywords? And then in terms of content, are you looking at the top few results in the SERPs? Are you using any optimization tools like Surfer? And then a final part to that is the strategy different for the Bulgarian language market? So there's a lot there, but just
A load of questions.
You tell me all my secrets.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just quickly tell us all your secrets. Yeah.
I'll just keep some of them for myself.
Okay.
But yeah, keyword difficulty, that's something that I look at, but it's not the major thing, to be honest, because I strongly believe that with the right SEO strategy, it doesn't matter how difficult a keyword is.
We want to know more about that.
Yeah. But just to answer your question about the differences in English and in Bulgarian, there are differences. It's easier for the English language, mostly because most of these tools, as you mentioned, Ahrefs and other similar tools, they're actually built to work in English. And they're not providing that detailed data for different languages, especially for languages that are not that popular as English, for example, or German or French. So for the Bulgarian one, I have been having some difficulties, let's say. I mean, I'm still getting the background, I'm still getting the info, the landscape, etc. It's just I'm having the feeling that for the English language, I'm getting much more ideas around questions, keywords that users are searching for, etc., etc. But I guess that's quite normal.
All right. I am ready to talk about link building. So this is our favorite topic. Obviously, we do digital PR, so we love digital PR. I think that fits in very well with brand strategy. But I wanted to ask about link building in general. How do you use link building to increase brand awareness?
First of all, link building nowadays, it's not what link building used to be, which is good. I believe people have learned that they don't simply need any links; they need quality backlinks. And with quality backlinks, of course, the chance to reach your goal in terms of brand awareness, it's much higher. Regarding how I'm using it, I'm a huge fan of press releases, to be honest. Even if it's a bit old-fashioned, I believe that when you find the right directory, not simply publishing the press release anywhere, when you're having the relevant high authority directory, it's a very good thing to publish a press release around your brand, around launching a new product, for example, maybe launching, let's say, a new website for the same company, but for a different country, and place your backlinks.
So like a wire release.
Yes. I'm also a fan of articles. To be honest, I'm having experience in media websites. I'm a fan of publishing articles, but it's very essential to make sure that the website you're publishing your article in, it's relevant to the topic you're publishing. Let's get back to the high heels. It's gonna seem weird if you have like a website for, I don't know, lifestyle news and publish high heels, although we can relate to this, to be honest. Celebrities wear high heels. But yeah, it's essential part of the SEO strategy. It just needs to be done carefully, very careful.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, if you embark on a guest post campaign, are you having as much consideration in the content? I mean, anyone that's done any sort of guest posting, you know that oftentimes you just put very little effort into that content. It's about the link. But when it comes to brand building, really, you don't want the message to suffer in a poorly written, low quality guest post article if it's being associated with the brand. So yeah, like you said, it's a maintenance of high quality.
Exactly. I want to check the other website where this link will be placed. I want to see the other articles. I want to see what they're about, how they are written, if they're written simply to have links in them, or they are providing valuable information, which is, of course, getting back again to the value for the users, which is the most important thing, I believe. It's not only for Google, it's always for the users. So yeah, we need to have authority websites where we are placing our backlinks. We don't need simply to, here is this link, please publish it.
Yeah, that is definitely like the link building industry maturing, mostly because Google makes people, they come out with these new updates and they wipe out old strategies. But it has moved to more of I don't want to say natural, because we're still placing links to manipulate, but it has at least forced SEOs to focus on more quality and more relevance, which is a good thing. And I think that's really where we like for branded search, for brand awareness, where we like digital PR is because all of the links when you're running a digital PR campaign, they're going to be branded anchors. So it's really in digital PR, there's not even that option to choose your anchor. It's always the brand name. So when you're getting a link in Forbes and it's linking the brand name, it's a really good way to increase brand awareness from a link building strategy.
Indeed, actually, that's why I didn't mention that the anchor should be branded. I just thought it's easy to understand.
That's just hard for an SEO, I think. Oftentimes when they're the link building mindset, it's always like, they're looking for that anchor that makes more sense for the page, or the money anchor. So it can be just something you have to stress on your SEO team is if you're focusing on brand awareness, you need brand anchors, not product anchors.
Yep, exactly.
Are you seeing a shift in mentality from clients in terms of the thirst for backlinks and the sorts of backlinks, for like with the recent updates and the mass manual de-indexation and manual penalties that we had in recent months? Are you seeing more of like a risk aversion to link building, or does it really just depend on a client by client basis?
I must say it depends. To be honest, I haven't noticed any decrease in the willingness from clients to invest in link building because, some links are sponsored, which is quite normal. I'm not seeing a decline, definitely, but as I said, yeah, it very much depends on the client. And, this aggressive LinkedIn promoters that are always there in your inbox. I'm having so many quality backlinks. Come to us.
It's become like an ingrained part of SEO now. So any client that's been around for long enough knows they need to build links.
Yes, that was my next thought. It's like, SEO is not already something new as it was like 13 years ago when I started. I needed to explain what SEO is. I needed to explain what we are doing and why we are doing it and why it is important. Nowadays, clients know about SEO. They not only know about SEO, they read about it and they have their opinion on it.
It's because people keep making podcasts about it. That's why.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, let's do this and this. I read about this. Let's do it. And I'm like, okay, we can do it, but let's do it with thought in it, not simply do it.
So I'm curious how you guys are thinking about the future of search. So we've seen so many changes lately, and I know AI overviews have been pretty hit or miss and still haven't rolled out everywhere. But we obviously know that's coming and that's going to be the future. There's also, other things emerging like Perplexity, Search GTP. So how are you guys thinking about the future of search? How are you preparing for maybe a future where Google doesn't dominate every industry?
You can call me old-fashioned, to be honest, but to me, the future of search is the valuable and the useful content. It's not going to change. If you have a look at the latest Google algorithm updates, not simply the latest, maybe in the past couple of years, you can see that all of these updates are aiming at cleaning the content that is created only for SEO purposes, and is trying to show in the results content that is having value. Even the most recent update, I think it's just rolled out, if I'm not mistaken. Even it is about the useful content. So this is something that is not going to die. Even with the AI, even with the chat GPT, this is not something that is going to pass away. And machines are not going to take us.
So you don't think Google will lose search share? We interviewed Neil Patel recently, actually, and his opinion of it was, I thought, quite interesting. He said when Instagram launched, they said it would be the death of Facebook. When TikTok launched, they said it would be the death of YouTube. And none of those platforms have died. People are just using all of them. So I thought that was an interesting perspective. Yeah.
Exactly. I don't think Google will die. It's too powerful. let's say
until it gets split up.
No, it's just going to coexist. It's going to, of course, use some AI integrations that I'm really curious to see, to be honest. I'm really looking forward to see them launched in Bulgaria. But no, I don't think Google will die. People need it.
Yeah, I totally agree. Okay, I think we have one more question to kind of wrap things up. What advice would you give to new SEO professionals who are looking to specialize in brand awareness?
Think as a customer, think as a user. Of course, you need to know the theory. You need to have an SEO strategy. You need to know what you're doing. But don't forget that what we, the SEO specialists, are doing, it's for the people. It's not for Google. So try to think as a user. Will I like this? Will I like this if I see it and if I'm a user? Will it be useful for me? Will it bring me value? That's the most important thing. Don't forget that it's not all keywords. It's not all indexing and bots. We are having real users in the end of the line, and we want to make them happy, satisfied, and we want to make them get back to the website. We want to make them think, oh, I know this brand. It's a cool one. It provides cool information, cool services, cool products.
That's great. I think it's so funny how as SEOs, we just consistently try and manipulate the SERPs and not believe anything that Google says. But at the heart of it, we just know the truth of the matter is what's in Google's guidelines satisfy the user. And we've seen that from the leaks as well, that, what they're measuring is user experience, click data and, so we can do whatever we can in order to manipulate that, but the real behavior is still the same end result. We want the user to want to be there, to stay there, to engage. So yeah, that's great.
All right, Vasi, thanks for coming on. It's been great to talk with you and hear about your insights. Where should people go if they want to connect with you?
I have a LinkedIn profile. So if you want to have a quick chat about SEO, about brand awareness, about how important tech SEO is for everything.
About high heel.
I'm a woman, of course. High heel is the first to my mind. Never worked on such type of website, to be honest. Never.
You're going to get inundated with high heel clients now.
Especially if they give me shoes.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you, Vas. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you very much. Take care.
Thank you for the invitation. It was lovely speaking to you too. Bye-bye.
And that wraps up this episode of Market Movers Building Brands and Links with Linkify. Big thanks to our parent company, Linkifi, the wizards behind turning ambitious businesses into standout brands. Hit up our website at linkify.io and take the first steps towards brand greatness. Big shout out to Fame for making this podcast possible. Thanks for listening, folks. Stick around for more insights in our next episode. Catch you later.